Hi, my name is Julia. Thank you for joining me today. I have a Yin Yoga sequence for us that is focused on the upper body. We'll be getting a little bit into the neck, the shoulders, the upper back. So if you like, go ahead and make your way to your mat. Perhaps if you have a yoga bolster, yoga blocks, or a blanket, feel free to go grab those props. I will give a couple different variations on a couple of these postures if you would like to use props with them. So to begin, we're going to be focusing our attention on the breath. So we're going to start in this nice, easy seat. Feel free to grab a block or a blanket to put underneath your sit bones as we come into this opening breath awareness. Maybe today focus your awareness in that upper body space. Maybe just notice if you're holding any tension in the shoulders, if you're holding any tension in the neck, the jaw. Maybe simply soften your gaze towards the floor, slightly tucking your chin, relaxing through the back of the neck all the way down the spine. Take a nice deep breath in. Imagine you're drawing that breath all the way down from the base of your spine, up out of the top of your head on your inhale. And then as you exhale, draw that breath all the way back down the spine. It might help to visualize your spine as a channel for the breath moving through the body. As we move through practice today, I invite you to take notice of your breath. Allow your breath to guide you. If you notice that your breath becomes erratic or heavy, that may be a sign from your body that you might need to back off just a little bit in the posture. Feel free at any point, if you need to do so, to take any other posture that feels comfortable for you in that moment. I invite you to always listen to your body and follow what your body is asking from you today. So as you are ready, we're going to get into the neck just a little bit here in this seated position. So feel free to go ahead and drop the right ear towards the right shoulder. Beginning to feel a lengthening in the left side of the neck here. We'll be here for just a couple of minutes. Maybe bringing one hand to the top of the head gently, not putting pressure. Maybe stretching that left arm out to the side, bringing the fingertips to the mat. Knowing that at any point if this becomes too intense, feel free to please bring your neck back up through center. Maybe notice as we move deeper into this posture that you can perhaps soften the shoulders a little bit. Allow yourself to sink deeper into this posture. As you are ready, gently bring your head back up to center. Release your arms. And maybe just take a couple of neck rolls here. Going both directions. And as you are ready, maybe switching the cross of your legs. Maybe readjusting your seat here and gently dropping the left ear to the left shoulder. Noticing that lengthening in the right side of the neck. Option here again to bring your left hand to the top of the head gently, maybe walking those right fingertips out to the side. Knowing at any point that if that is too intense, feel free to bring your arms back down. At any point, if the mind begins to wander, simply bring it back to your breathing. Maybe mentally saying to yourself, inhale and exhale. As you are ready, maybe releasing your arms, bringing your head back to center, gently taking some neck rolls here, going in one direction and then the other. Going to take a moment of rebound in a child's pose before we move on into our next postures. So coming out of this seat into a tabletop position on hands and knees. Feel free, if you do have a folded blanket or cushion, to place it either underneath your knees or kind of behind your knees, such as this. We're going to bring the big toes together to touch and begin to shift the hips back towards the heels. Feel free also to take a yoga block, or if you don't have a block, maybe a firm cushion or even a book, and you can rest your forehead here to create a little more space in this child's pose. We'll be here about 1 minute before we move into our next posture. Maybe just take a moment here to soften through the jaw. Allow your face to relax. Maybe your eyes close. Enjoy this stillness. As you're ready, maybe gently lifting the hips. We're going to move into melting heart pose. I'm going to show an option here, a couple of options. So our first option is with no props, walking the hands forward, allowing your heart to melt towards the earth here. Another option is to bring the hands together in prayer pose behind the head here. Another option is to take a block, put it beneath your forehead, resting here. You can always put a blanket underneath the knees as well. Even with the block, you can bring your hands behind the head, maybe interlacing the fingers if you like. Get a little more into the arms. Another option is to take your blocks, if you have them, or even sturdy books, or a firm cushion or yoga bolster. Any of those will work. You can maybe bring the arms down onto the blocks. Bring your forehead to the blocks as well, and bring your hands behind your head. So finding whichever option works for you. We're going to be here about 3 minutes. Head bringing that heart towards the mat, resting either on your blocks, your props, or even just yourself on the mat. Whatever option speaks to you today and resonates with you. Allow yourself to breathe nice and deep into the back body, feeling all the expansion, the space that you are creating in this pose. And of course, know that at any time, if you need to come out of the pose, you can simply shift your hips back into a child's pose, perhaps, if it becomes too intense in this melting heart pose. Listen to your breath and allow it to guide your body. And as you are ready, we're going to gently shift into a Sphinx pose, coming there, flowing naturally from that melting heart pose onto the forearms, supporting our upper body in this Sphinx pose. And feel free to bring your legs out wider if that's more comfortable for you in Sphinx pose. We'll be here for about 3 minutes. A couple of options here with our Sphinx pose is that you can bring a cushion, a bolster, or a block in front of your head and maybe rest your forehead on top of that. If you do not have any of those props, you can make fists with your hands and rest your head like so. Or you can keep your gaze straight forward, relaxing the shoulders, gently keeping that neutral gaze. Finding whichever option works for you and is most comfortable for the next 3 minutes. About 1 minute left here in Sphinx pose. Maybe just take this moment to check in with your breath. Notice whether your breath has become faster. Maybe you need to back off a little bit in the pose. If so, otherwise maintain that steady breath. Allowing yourself to remain at a comfortable edge of sensation. As you are ready, bring your hands together, making a little resting place for your head. Maybe bring your left cheek to the mat. Bring your left leg out to the side if you like, making a little half frog shape here for just a minute. As you are ready, bring your left leg back down, maybe pressing into the hands. We're going to come up to a seal pose for about 2 minutes. So bringing your hands maybe a little bit wider than your mat. I'm going to hold this seal pose for about 2 minutes. At any point that becomes too intense and you notice that your breathing has increased, please feel free to come back to the Sphinx pose we just did. Knowing you are always free to make adjustments as necessary. Following the gentle rhythm of the breath. As you are ready, taking a nice deep breath in, exhale, lower down. Again, bringing those hands down in front, creating a little pillow, maybe looking out over towards your left, resting the right cheek on the mat. Bring that right knee up, making a little frog-like shape with that right leg. We'll rest here for about a minute. Maybe taking a moment in this rebound pose just to check in with any sensation you feel in the body. Not labeling it as good or bad, but simply noticing. And as you are ready, bringing that right leg back down, gently pressing up through hands and knees, coming to sit in a kneeling position for just a moment. Maybe taking a moment to take some dynamic, gentle movements through the spine in a seated cat and cow pose. So maybe bringing the hands to the thighs. Expand through the chest. Bring the shoulder blades together on an inhale. And on your exhale, round in the shoulders. Draw the belly button to your spine. Inhale, bring the chest forward. Exhale, round through the back. Just do this motion a couple of times. Simply noticing any sensation that arises. And as you're ready, we're going to make our way onto our back. We're going to take a reclining butterfly pose with an arm variation to open up the chest and the arms a little bit. So bringing your feet together, maybe even taking yoga blocks and placing them sort of underneath to support your thighs and knees here, if you like. Maybe bringing the arms up overhead, perhaps bending in the elbows as if you're taking those hands behind the head to relax. Feel free to kind of bring the arms out wide. Whatever feels most comfortable to you for the next 3 minutes. Find that variation. Allowing yourself to open through the chest, through the shoulders. At any point, if this becomes uncomfortable or you feel like your hands are starting to fall asleep, then feel free to bring your hands down to your side or to rest on your belly. As you are ready, maybe just bringing your hands down to guide your legs together, moving your props out of the way, coming back down to your mat to prepare for Shavasana, our final resting posture. So feel free here to take any position that feels most comfortable to you. Maybe you bring those knees together, your feet out, mat width distance apart in constructive rest. Or perhaps you would like to extend the legs long, maybe letting the feet just relax and the arms relax. Taking a moment just to scan the body from the tips of the toes all the way to the crown of the head. Noticing if there's any place that you can make yourself just a little bit more comfortable, knowing that I will guide you out in the next few minutes. So simply take this moment to rest. You are welcome to stay in Shavasana for as long as you like. However, if you are ready to conclude your practice today, maybe take a moment to invite gentle movement back into the body, wiggling fingers and toes, maybe fluttering open the eyelids if they were closed. Taking a moment to maybe gently roll over to the right or left side in a fetal position. As you are ready, pressing yourself up to a seat. Taking just a moment to acknowledge yourself for coming to your mat today to practice. Sending yourself gratitude and loving kindness. Maybe bring the hands together, resting the thumbs at the collarbone. Take a nice deep breath in, sigh it out. The light and love in me sees and honors the light and love in you. Thank you for practicing with me.